Hey guys, welcome back to my Power Apps tutorial. Today I want to show you how you can create modern looking charts in Power Apps. In the first part of this video, I showed you how you can connect your Power Apps to QuickChart.io using a simple API. So today I'll be showing you how you can use collections and also data coming from SharePoint to create these charts. So let's dive in. Right here in my Power Apps, you can see this cool looking chart is all coming from an image, and that's because I'm using an API on the image property. And you can easily do this by going to QuickChart.io. On the landing page here, you'd see this link. You can copy up this link, copy that, go back here. You can take out everything here. You have to make sure everything is wrapped in double quotes, and it just shows up. So also, if you're looking to customize this data, this is Q1, quarter 1 through to 4. That is what you have displaying down here. Then this first data set here is for the users. Okay, 50, 60, and you can see the legend here, how it increases, how it displays here. And also the one for the revenue. So that means if I come over here and change it to 100, you should see that display quickly in real time. See, it just increased. Okay, but now we want to use our own personal data, right? So when I go into my app.formulas here, I already have a collection created. Okay, so I have a collection called FX graph data, and you can see I have label, users, and revenue key value pairs there, and everything is in each object. So this is showing me that I have 4 records here existing here. So I want to connect this data to plot my graph. So how would I do that? If I put these values individually, sometimes the values may change. It can be dynamic. So I need to connect this collection directly. So to do that, we would have to concatenate our values here. So let's see how we can concatenate that. So I would highlight this array here. I will take it out. Then I would put in my own empty array first. Then I'll bring in 3 double quotes. I'll put in an ampersand sign. I'll throw in the concat function. Okay, then I can now type in my collection name, which is the source. Then next, I would put in the column that I want to see first, which is the one for the label. So I'm saying this record.label, and you can see I'm referring to this key value pair here, the label column. So that's where the label would be. And let me expand this. So label. So it's not showing yet because I'm not done. I'll put a comma. I also throw in 3 double quotes, put a comma again and 3 double quotes again. Then I would close this brackets, throw in an ampersand sign again, and throw in 3 double quotes. And now you should see the data showing up correctly. So this data is coming real time from my collection. So if we want to do for also the users and the revenue to just change the array here, the code might start looking, ugly and confusing and, difficult to manage. So what I'll do, I will place this into a variable. So all I just need to do is to reference that variable name, and we don't need to do this extra concatenation directly on this API. So what I'll do, I would come inside here and call out this for now. I'll call it out. I'll go into my app.formulas. Under here, you can do this right here. I'll say FX graph data, okay? Then I'll say underscore label. You can give it any name you want. Just make sure it's descriptive. Then I'll paste this here, okay? Now throw in a semicolon. Then I'll wrap this in double quotes so it's properly formatted, okay? So when I copy this and go back into my data, now it's showing error because something is missing. That's because I took out something here. So all I need to do here is to throw in double quotes, double ampersand sign, and paste that formula or that variable, and you can see it's showing up. All right, so let's do same for the others. So since I already have something to look at, I'll just copy and paste. Now I'll change this to users, because now I want to display, these objects coming from this collection. So we're still using the same source, and now this time I would say this record dot users. Okay, copy and paste again. Then I will check. I will change this one as well. Control D to select multiple reoccurrence of the text. Then I'll say revenue. Okay. Now that's all I need to do for, mapping the variables. So now what I'll do is to come here to this array. Okay. Throw in double quotes, double ampersand sign. Then I'll say fx graph data underscore. Let's put the revenue here first. Okay, this is the user, so let the users be here. Users. Then for the other one, come here, double quotes and double ampersand, and let's say fx graph data, then revenue. Then, so now the code looks, a bit more cleaner instead of having double quotes everywhere. And let's see the output. So now you can see we are bringing data directly, like it's not just static data anymore, it's now dynamic. Okay, and we can change any of this value, coming from our collection, and it's, directly reflects. Let's test that. So I'll come into my formulas here. The first data for the user is 50, right? I'm going to change that to 200. And now we can see here that the value increased from 50 to 200. So that means our concatenation is working. All right, so you can see how easy that is. So the second part of this video is I want to show you how you can connect this to SharePoint, how you can use data coming from an actual data source and not just a collection. All right, guys, so over here on my SharePoint list, you can see I have my sales data here. I have the months, the sales for that month or for each month, the targets, and the year in which this sale happened. So I have for 2026 and 2025 here. Okay, I already have my UI prepared, and I just throw in one of the cool looking charts coming from QuickChart.io. So if you're looking to get more charts from QuickChart.io, all you just need to do when you get into this URL, you'll come into the chart gallery here. Then when you begin to scroll down, you can see all kinds of charts. Okay, all kinds of charts, column charts, bar charts, line charts and pie charts, and you just name them, progress chart, and all kind of charts you can imagine. So and it's really cool. You can also generate QR code, progress bar, all kinds of stuff. So, and if you're also looking to customize your own chart, you can make use of the charts maker, playground and all that. So when I scroll down here, so you can see this chart right here has both column and line. So what you can do is to click on it. So when you click on it, it opens this playground where you can see the code that makes up that chart, and you can see the chart on the right. And even right here, you can make changes real time, and it's also going to reflect. I can change this 160 here. I can change it to 100, and I should see that value reflect real time. All right, so let me go back here now, and I can see this here. This is just dummy data showing up and all that. So what we're going to do, we're going to connect our SharePoint list. Want to see the data, want to train this data from our SharePoint list. And also, I also want to be able to filter by the year. So I'm just having a drop down here, having 2025 and 2026. These are just manual data. So let's go back here, app.formulas. We'll create our variables here now. So first, I'm going to point to my SharePoint list, and I'll just say fx sales data, sales data. And secondly, I would try to map the columns that I want. So I'll make a copy of one of these, copy this, I'll paste this. I'll just call it fx sales data underscore. This one will be for the label. So I'll paste that here. So all I just need to change is the collection here now, which will be this. This shouldn't be here. Let's take this out. This one will be this record dots. The month column is on the title column. So sometimes you can give it, the IntelliSense might show the actual name you renamed the title column to, or you still have to point to title column here. So that's that. And I will make a copy of this. Then I will just have to change this here from label to this one will be sales. And also change here to sales because that's the name of the column. Then I'll make a copy and paste. I'll change here to there will be targets. Also change here to targets. And I think that's all. So now all I just need to do is to come over here to the graph or click on the image. Then where I have the label showing up here, you can see labels. I would create double quotes, ampersand sign. Then I just need to reference that, say FL says data underscore label. Okay, so I see I'm getting some errors here, and that is because I have the same name here as the same name down here. So now I want to make it a little bit different. So I'm going to rename these guys here. From FX graph data, I'll just say FX sales data. Okay, let's leave it that way. All right, so when I come back here now, I will say FX sales data for the label. That will be this. Now, this is where we have the one for the target, right? We will change this now. Take this out. You can see it's already showing down there. Take this out and double quotes, double ampersand sign. I'll say FX sales underscore targets. Okay. Good. It's already showing up. Then now let's do the last one. I'll say FX, not yet. FX sales data for this will be for the sales. Yeah. So let's see. So you can see real time, this is showing up. Okay. And it's looking a bit, it's not looking so nice for now. So what we can do, because I would like the target to be a little bit at the front. Okay. So what I can do, I can highlight the second object here, which trends the target. Hold on my option key and move this up, fix the comma. Then I should see it displaying properly now, or better. Beautiful. Awesome. I think I prefer this better. And also, you can remove the fill, this red light fill behind it for the line charts. If you come over here to the background color, you can change this opacity to 0. And see, you're just going to have the target trending line. Okay. So when you play around with the API, when you study the QuickChart.io API website, when you play around with some of these values here, you'll be able to do, a lot of customizations with this graph, unlike Power Apps where, you're kind of limited and all that. Okay, that's cool. And the last I want to do now is, fix the filter. I want to be able to filter by here, and so it changes real time, for dashboards and all that. So what I can do here, because I want these values here to be dynamic. Right now, I'm just having, static value here. So I'll come here. I'll fetch data coming from the SharePoint list. I would say FX here. Okay. And I'll say, we use a distinct function. And I'll point to the sales data. I'll point to the sales data SharePoint list. And I'll say year sales. That's the name of the column. So this will give me all the single or individual values, the ones that are, it just takes out the duplicates and gives me the single values for that column. So it's going to return 2025 and 2026. So I'll come here and I'll clear this out, then paste this. So now when I take a look at this collection, it should be returning, just 2025 and 2026. So let's click on this. You can see we're having the same data. Now, for we to be able to make the filter work, because right now, 2026 is being selected and nothing still happens. So what we can do is to do a filter on this, okay? Can do a filter on the main collection, filter the sales data, where the we need to copy the combo box name. So select this, copy. I can say where the, let's close this and say where the year sales is in, okay? And I'll paste this combo box dot selected items, because sometimes I might want to see both years, so I don't want to do individual values, and that's why I'm using the in, because I want it to look at either 2025, 2026, or both. Okay. All right. So now you can see that is already working. Let me run this up, and when I select 2025, you see that only 2025 data should be returning. Okay. And when I select 2026, should that 2026 data should be returning down there. And also I can select both years and I'll see all the data coming back. So guys, that's all for now. This video was based on a request from one of my followers. If you would like me to create content, similar to this, or any content relating to Power Apps Copilot, just leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned. Bye for now.